Ah, the apocalypse. A wasteland of the disease a la fungi. There's nothing left but despair, danger, and death. It's a place for no humanity and no hope. But what if I told you that a duo of a raunchy old barn potato and a cute cuddleworthy not at all like 14 but rather like 12 looking little rascal are trying to to completely annihilate Armageddon with no weapons, no bricks, no bottles, absolutely not more than their own raw human strength that the gods bestowed upon them?
No why?
Yes way, you moldy champignon. Hello there, I'm Playsiera, and today I'm gonna honor and join the crew of the Last of Us challenge masters out there and try to conquer it in the most knuckle-numbing and brain cell mutating challenge that nobody asked for. I will attempt to literally beat Naughty Dog's masterpiece, Fists Only. And oh my hot dog, this challenge has pushed me more than over my limits and almost took the fun out of one of the best games out there. But I promise you it was all worth it. Really, you will be shooketh for how the hardest parts, namely the hotel basement, the sniper suburb, and the grand finale of the Firefly hospital went. But before I tell you all about the rules I followed during this run, I just want to put it out there. I absolutely adore The Last of Us, really. Finding hope and love within a badland of desperation is simply timeless. It's no surprise it has become a gaming phenomenon and now takes over the media landscape. Hell, even Anna friggin' Torfringe's Olivia Dunham was in this thing. Oh, Neil Druckmann, at least here you knew exactly what you were doing, you naughty dog. It holds a really special place in my heart, for its remastered version was actually the first game I ever played, and the one that got me into gaming in the first place. So, because of our history, so to say, I chose for my first The Last of Us challenge the remastered edition, but don't you worry, my future challenges will be done on the PS5 version. Now, you question, what do you mean with fists only, Playsiera? And I answer, I'll tell you all about it, my tasty toadstool. First rule. I am not allowed to use any shooting or any melee weapons. Duh. That means no guns, no bricks, no bottles, no molotovs, no smoke bombs, no bats. You get the idea. So it's basically a no weapon and no tool run, but beating The Last of Us fist only makes it better fun, you know? Now you say, what the hell, girl? You out of your mind? No weapons, okay, but no bricks and bottles? This is your only chance for survival. What are you doing? And I say, easy, tiger. Rule number 2. By only using fists, I actually mean all the manpower that Joel Miller, the Lone Star Hulk of the countryside, has to offer. And this King Ranch casserole has it all. He can beat enemies, he can kick them as well, and he has thighs and upper arms of steel, so he gives you the tightest hugs that take your breath away. It's a little differently when we talk about our precious Ellie, but more on that when we get there, okay?
Okay.
Then we not only have Ellie, but also Elise. Their kills don't count to our kill stats, so as rule number 3, I will utterly use the hell out of them in combat situations, meaning I let them do all the work and let them prep the counterfighter to take my last blow. I said no use of any glitches as rule number 4. Dante Ravioli has told you all about how you can skip certain forced gun use parts with simple, precise movements, but I will completely forego these. Why? Because I'm too stupid to do them. Also, I'm here for the entire story, with all its painful sequences, so at least I'll go down big style. And the last of them rules is the one that shook the ground for me. I will complete the story on grounded mode. The hardest difficulty for the toughest of the toughest. Enemies are stronger. You'll die in 1 to 3 hits. There's no listen mode, a sneaky little superpower where you can see through walls and locate your enemies. There's no HUD, so you have no idea except for your body language what your health does. And also, no loot at all. That's how I actually got the idea for this run. On my first grounded playthrough, the game gave me close to no supply, so I thought, why even bother? I'ma just see for myself if the power combo of Joel's meatballs and Ellie's
condition.
Nice way to put it, Joel. Is the secret weapon to crush the mushroom dystopia. But before the duo finds its groove, we have to go a long way. I began my journey as a lonely and grumpy Joel. Here you see him in a back alley at the Boston quarantine zone. We are 20 years into the post-pandemic outbreak of the cordyceps virus. 60% of the world population are now infected by the madness-inducing fungus in various stages. And for the rest, life has become a matter of going only day for day and doing things worse to survive than you wish to your worst enemy.
What the hell's wrong with you?
His stone-etched face is the result of his broken heart from the start of the apocalypse, where his entire world got ripped away in only a fatal second. The expression of terror on this little girl's face made him wonder, how can he go on? What has he left to fight for? Why is everyone except for his partner Tess suspicious of him? Is it because he looks more grouchy than Jack Torrance after 20 drinks? Is it because of the gun poking out of his pants that I was forced to take during a cutscene, otherwise I couldn't progress? Or is it because he consists of 120% muscle mass and is able to beat down an entire horde of runners, the short-time infected, which can still see and go after you like groupies? The only thing clear was, this dinosaur had to work on his overall appearance. That's why in the shooting that took place just a few meters away from this girl, I made him be a better man. I crouched behind this box, peeked over the edge for a millisecond, and let Tess do all the work. Seriously, on Grounded Milk, this works for me every time. Just a little peek, and then chill. Try it out yourself.
Nicely done, Texas.
You too.
Tess, that was amazing! After getting touchy and being all ASMR on these fellas, one even tried to get Joel from behind, but he wasn't too keen on doing it doggy style. Then we met Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies, a group of revolutionists that got something in store. She took us to the surprise, but before we played some hide, but no seek, for the AI from these enemies is actually pitiful. Yeah, he won't get the Employee of the Month award. Then finally the paths of destiny crossed for our heroes, but they were not amused. In fact, Joel even pulled the wake me up when it's all over card, but not with Tess. She sassily disturbed his snore maneuver and forced us out into the rainy, cold outskirts. There we found out about Ellie's secret. She is infected, but apparently immune. She literally is the only weapon against the apocalypse. We only have to get her to a hospital on the other side of the US to develop this antivirus. So there was no time to waste, and we simply ran and sneaked by the military. No biggie. We then made it to this office building here, and the first hard segment awaited me. The girl sacrificed Joel to a room with 4 runners and a goddamn clicker. Clickers are longer infected that have no sight but incredible hearing. Also, they are super aggressive, so if they are aware of you and you stand nearby, you'll be in Davy Jones' locker sooner than the Flying Dutchman.
Thanks for the tip.
There is a way to sneak kill them if I'd upgrade shifts, but I didn't allow myself to do that. So what will I do? Important note here, I completely ignored the luring revolver because I am a woman of my principles. And afterwards, it was bordering on harassment for how often the game tried to sniffily force me to take it. It was so ironic. In my no weapon run, the game sprinkled me with ammo, but not back when I needed it. Anyways, I balled up, jumped down, and took down this fella here right away. The plan was to take down the runners first, because with their sight they can come to me in hordes, and I would have no chance if that happens. I can only deal with one enemy at a time. That didn't really work the way that I wanted to, so I used the much needed running space back in one of them to where I wanted them and modulated their physics to my liking in peace. After that was done, I went to the clicker. You'll say this is where it ends, right? You can't punch a clicker to death without distracting them, throwing things at them, or having an ally with you, right? Wrong, my dear! You only need Joel's fists. It's true, you can't punch them when they're aware of you, but you can punch them when they aren't. They can't see, so that's what I used. It hurt me running around, so I simply slowed down and then crouched. The loser lost me then. I waited till he came up, told it to get back in the kitchen in the old-fashioned way, landed 2 to 3 hits, needed to be quick to get away, and rinse and repeat. And look at that. Whoa! Joel the Machine. What a man.
Country boy, I love you.
But only a few seconds later, the world looked much darker, for we arrived at the subway station. Clickers everywhere, and on top of that, 3 runners. Jesus, that took me a damn long minute to finish. The first ones that had to go were, of course, the runners. There was one over here, there, and a hidden one right there. Awesome, so far so good. Off to the clickers. We could have sneaked by all of them, but here's the deal. Right in our exit stands this sucker. Would I grab the ladder, he'd immediately get me, so I needed to find another way. Because there were like 6 or 7 of them, maybe even more. I thought getting rid of a few of them in my newly found takeout style would help, but you can guess how that went. Plus, the checkpoint that the game gives you feels as brutal as the Akuma mode in The Evil Within. Here you're not only set back to the beginning of the subway station, you also have to endure some boring, which feels like forever dialogue as well. In my 26th desperate new take, I even grabbed the Molotov because I seriously thought, no, there's no way I could do it. But then, the impossible happened. Look for yourself.
Holy hell. Okay, so what happened is I activated all of them, had to squeeze my way through, ran over to the next shop and lured them all over to me. Come here, my boys. Activated my stealth power, sneaked all the way to the exit, and kinda lost them through that.
Whew! Holy moly, it was chaotic AF. I double peed my pants, but we actually did it. Phew, I really needed a moment now to come down from this terror. Basking in the glorious history of this country would be ideal, I thought, so I made the girls go to the museum. What? I got a free hand in making my own decisions. But here my pulse erupted even further. I got into pumping again, cause the ladies can't do anything by themselves. I had to beat down the entire horde of runners that rushed into this room. My god, Tess, you got a gun that you can use, but let me do all the work? That's victimizing. But they did help in a way, because they were the perfect prey for the usual bolt toadstools. That way I could pursue my style of dealing with one at a time. Thankfully, we made it to the appointed destination, but I felt right away the air got dense.
Ooh.
Was that you, Ellie? No, not that. Something was wrong with Tess. No! Tess! Why were you so incompetent? So after crumping Joel's heart even further, of course I'm talking about neglecting this beautiful sniper rifle here, we sneak killed these Wolfenstein war heroes on the upper floor without any issues. On the down floor, however, I always had a pretty hard time beforehand, but today...
Where the fuck are you, sorry sack of shit?
Bros, what is up with you? We're right in front of your eyes. Everyone is entitled to be stupid, but you abuse that privilege. Now comes a really special part, Billstown. This was always my favorite chapter before. It's finally a moment to calm down. The lights are breathtaking, the charming little town there's everywhere, and we get to witness the tentative approach of our Joel and Ellie. But unfortunately today, this was where the fun ended. I got completely first, and you knew it was coming all along, Bill's goddamn trap. Remember I didn't pick up the revolver? Look at this crap!
Lipstick and my Valentino white.
No, Patricia, but they put a revolver in Joel's jeans. Yes, Joel has a fully loaded weapon all the time in his pants, but this was ridiculous. And when I didn't use it, that happened. Yes, I know about the glitch that I could have used to pass the sequence, but again, I set rules, no glitches. So sadly, here was the first unavoidable gun usage and I was stuck with a revolver for the rest of the game. After trying to see if my AI companions can do something by themselves...
1 hour later. 2 hours later. 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Bill took us to his hiding spot, and the loser actually forced his shotgun into me in a cutscene. I do not consent, you old beer can. On top of that, he also wanted to pin a nail bomb onto me. I tried to ignore him, even ran away, but I couldn't progress if I didn't pick it up.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
The town, however, was super easy. I sneaked, hugged, ran, and used my allies. During some gossiping about him with Ellie in this house, because let's be real, there's nothing more bonding than gossiping together. I accidentally picked up an arrow as well, and was now stuck with a shotgun and a bolt on my back forever, which doesn't affect anything but really bugs the hell out of me aesthetically. Anyways, we made it literally to hell, aka high school. On the outside we dealt with runners, which wasn't problematic, yet I really needed to watch my health. I knew I needed every med kit for what was about to come, so I repeated this section until I made it without any damage and found out the best place to be is on this bus. Boom!
Well, that was easier than I thought it'd be.
The inside of the school was, like in real life, really terrifying. Both runners and clickers were everywhere and so scattered around that if one of them was alerted, all of them were. And even though it looks like there was enough space, it was actually really tricky to maneuver around. But in the end, I was able to do it.
Look, I hate to do it, but I will do it. I would give myself an A+.
Now, let me introduce you to the absolute worst part of it all. The damn bloater fight. 3 hours of my life are lost in this gym and can never be repaid. This Barney fungus is so mutated that it can throw spore balls at you that suck your health faster than curbstone hookers and reward closeness with instant death. Naturally, 3 runners tried to join the party, but I went all bouncer on them and threw them out right away. But now, how will I deal with the bloater? At first, I wasn't sure how to get close to him, so I wanted to see how much help Bill could give me with his shotgun. But I should have known better. After about 10 shells, he absolutely missed every shot, but continued to blow around. No wonder your Hawaiian lover left you, you idiot. So of course I was left all on my own. I sneaked around for hours, but this went nowhere. And then I had my uplifting moment. The boxes. I jumped onto them and somehow the bloater got stuck in an animation loop where I can kick the mushroom endlessly. Seriously, I went at it for 15 minutes straight. And he was getting more and more bloody. I really thought I was getting somewhere. And then this happened. No! I was furious. And somehow every time after this he just didn't want to get stuck anymore. Seems like he had enough of Step Bros. I tried it again for about 50 times, but there was the same outcome. I was all fed up. It seems like there was absolutely no way to kill him with no weapon. I know that there's a glitch where you can magically switch one of the runners from the beginning into the bloater in that death animation, but you know it already, I won't use that. So, with a broken heart and broken ankles, I used a Molotov on that big thing and was finally over with it. As the whipped cream on top of the sherry, after all of this, 3 runners enter the stage. Bill and Ellie are already in a safe spot, and Bill the friggin' loser just won't use his shotgun anymore. I jumped again on the boxes, but since there were 3 at once, coming from all sides, They had me in only 3 hits. I did manage to take down one, but was so battered that the last 2 pushed me over the edge. And as a condolence, the game presented me its fantastic checkpoint. I so had enough. I used Bill's shotgun on the runners and aligned it in Bill's direction once again, but a soft voice in my head said,
"Daddy, chill."
So instead, Ellie and Joel stole a car from him, got attacked in the process, but that was fine because there was enough running room, and made a nice road trip all over to Pittsburgh. A very nice welcoming committee greeted us, and I was absolutely stunned how these Einsteins were able to be in the leftover 40% of humanity, but found the answer right away. If you don't have a brain, how can you get infected?
Help! Help me!
Did someone say something?
We made it to the Kingston bookstore, and on every other playthrough before, I was stuck there because I tried to take out every enemy. But somehow, after clearing the outside, sneaking up to the top floor, spreading out some lovely beer hugs, I managed to get by this part in under 5 minutes. Cool. This cannot be said for the hotel part. It really wasn't hard per se. There are enough tables, doors, and couches to crouch behind, but what was painful is that after almost finishing off the area, the literal last enemy surprised me and the checkpoint sent me 40 minutes back. With my patience running thin as I made it in my second try, I arrived at the part I was most afraid of, the hotel basement, one of the aforementioned hardest parts of the game. In this dark place, you only have narrow halls, where Joel's 500 pounds barely fit through. All you need is a keycard and to turn on a power generator to open this door. This would be no deal if there wasn't a bloater coming right your way, and 2 waves of goddamn stalkers. Stalkers are a mix between a runner and a clicker, so they're fast, fuzzy, and annoying AF. Do you want to hear how I lost my mind to this part? Do you want to hear how absolutely terrifying, hard, and not doable this was? I'm sorry, my cute triple drop, but I am simply too good at this. Look, I grabbed the car, dealt with all the stalkers that rushed in, turned on the generator, blasted to the door, and didn't even get a whiff of that damn bloater. I know it was more luck than skill, but holy hell, I take it. However, the financial district, where Ellie is supposed to help you with a friggin' sniper rifle, was another story. The only thing tough about it was that it was so time-consuming. I found the best spot was over here in this building. I took down the rifleman first, waited in this room for a long while, until all the other bandits flew in and demonstrated me their IQ level of 17.
Your intellect is as weak as your dollar. Failure is your destiny. You disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
And can you guess how often Ellie helped me during this? Not even once.
How'd I do?
Terrible, you rugrat. When I adopt you, I'm gonna rename you to...
Okay.
After some more sneaking, punching, and climbing, we came across a tank. Whoa, that escalated quickly. But thanks to the environment and Joel's fists of steel, we easily ran by that into the arms of Henry and Sam. We knew from the second we met we're gonna be great friends. At the gate here, Henry showed me how much I can rely on him.
Oh fuck, Henry, you have one job.
So I sneaked over to the searchlight, turned it off, and had to do all the work on my own again. Some inconveniences followed, but eventually we made it to the sewers. What is it with game developers and excrements? No one will ever understand. Here Joel got separated from Ellie and was stuck with Sam in a room full with stalkers and clickers. In my playthroughs before, I had such a hard time here, but once again, like a miracle, I simply sprinted away and even made it that way. Whew! Sadly, the same can't be said after being reunited and having to leave the tunnels. A horde of runners and 3 clickers came our way. The runners were once again beaten down by me only, but the clickers wouldn't give up. The space was too small to deactivate them, so unfortunately I threw a Molotov to them, which both burned them and my soul. The suburbs section is again a peaceful intermission with lovely moments, but it all boils over in the sniper part, one of the most challenging areas in this game. I admit I was busy with this part for a good hour because I needed to find the right timing and map out the perfect route for this. First, I started going left, but there were too many enemies and I had no health kits left, so I quickly forgot about that. Then I tried going right and found a good groove. I waited until the sniper shot, used his reload time and ran. There's this pattern that when you sprint and he sees you, he misses the first shot but never the second. So I had to be quick to get to another hiding spot, waited until he shot again so I can use his reload time and progressed. I was able to get to this house. Here I waited until I could jump over the railing, crouched under the next house and made it to here. I waited for like 8 minutes, but the guys weren't budging, they just sat there and waited. So I sprinted back to the house from before and sorta activated them through that. Thankfully, these brain-dead supermen never got the idea to check the direction to which I sprinted to, so when I made it back, I had a clear way to sneak to the sniper house. I had a nice talk with a fella how he shouldn't do such nasty things, and you know what follows now. There's no way to skip the sniper section, and if I wouldn't shoot, my precious allies would be dead. So fortunately, I had to make use of another gun. I soon found out that I shouldn't have bothered since Sam and Henry were dead just a few hours later. Well, shucks, see you in hell, dudes. Time flies when you're having fun, so it was already autumn when Ellie and Joel made it to Joel's brother Tommy near Jackson. After a cute family reunion and doggy! The water factory that Tommy tried to reactivate was overrun with enemies. Thankfully, there were enough NPCs with rifles that actually do their job, so I didn't have to do anything. Unfortunately, that took forever. I had to crouch for 27 minutes, in which I actually watched another YouTube video and was shocked that it was still going on. Also, all of them NPCs got killed in the process, so when Tommy was the last one standing, another one magically respawned from the dead. Oh, The Last of Us. You're a gift that keeps on giving. Let's ride, my friend. The ranch was smoother than ranch dressing, so let's just skip to the Eastern Colorado University. Oh, how I love this one. This place is everything I always wish what my university would have looked like. Still, the only interesting parts were the runner section here, where I simply ran some rounds with them until a nice queue formed, waited here on the balcony, and let them pile in. Joel was here. And the clicker and bloater part. Here I only needed to slowly crouch by and suffer from a heart attack right after. The science building was surprisingly easy as well. There were enough tables to hide behind, enough space, and as expected, the counterfighters were dumb as bread. However, right as Joel got his first piercing, he sadly had to shoot these fellas in a cutscene so mirthfully, another gun use needs to be added to the weapon counter. But luckily in this scene here, Ellie made Joel a real proud papa and blew this head.
What did he say?
I'm sure he would have told her how proud he was if he hadn't passed out from his blood loss. Since Joel was currently occupied with surviving, we switched over to Ellie, and I can only say this one thing to her part.
There is only one thing worse than a rapist. Boom. A child. No.
I still have to spill you the beans of what rules I followed here, right? Listen, I'm all for equal rights, given that I myself am on the boobs fraction, but there's this thing called biology. So there's no way that our baby girl could beat hordes of enemies triple her size with only her physical strength. In her hand-to-hand fight move, she uses her little switchblade, so I'd say it's only fair that she can use her pocket knife. Friggingly, the sequence started with a real punch to the face, for somehow, somewhere, Ellie has found a bow. The poor deer was set as the target, and I tried to run through the woods for ages without progressing so sadly. It was unavoidable to shoot the deer. Fantastic start. The blood trace led me to the charming David, with whom I had to survive a cabin fight with runners and clickers, and afterwards a section with waves of them, plus a bloater. I have never suffered more during any gameplay before. I tried to make this part work for hours, but arrived at my wits. Yes, Ellie can kill enemies with her switchblade, but only if they are distracted. Look. Thanks, kid. As long as they went for David, it was all fine. I swung by and nailed it. But after a while, more than 2 or 3 would get in the cabin at the same time, and David was clearly too unattractive for them to jump onto him. If they neared me, it was all over. So sadly, I saw no way how to get past this part without using the rifle. The intersection here was nothing, but then we got to the bloater part. This was even hotter hell than before. Sure, after a while I got used to where the enemies would spawn, so I did try to go for a choreography, but they were too unpredictable in their behavior. Once all of them went to David and he took them all out by himself in just a few punches. Other times, they completely ignored him and went for me. When the bloater landed, it was all over. I spent over 2 hours alone on this part. Called the quits and had to use all the weapons the game would give me to be able to overcome this. I'm sure on a lower difficulty this would look different, but on grounded mode there's no chance. But thankfully, what followed looked much brighter. Ellie escaped the cabin resort by completely sneaking by these losers. She enjoyed the view for a sec and sliced the dice on David's minions on the outside and inside. She repeated the procedure in the snowstorm as well and thanked David for being such a big help back in the cabin. All while during this, Joel got up from the dead and went to look for Ellie. Even with a hole in his guts, the machine couldn't be stopped. Mostly because the blind bandits never found him. For the snowstorm, it took me a while to work out the best way to go, and that was to sprint over here to this room to avoid the wave of enemies that came in, triggered these 2 backyardigans to trick them with my invisibility, and calmly crouched by to finally reunite with Ellie. Oh, look at these 2, the ultimate duo. In a broken world, 2 broken hearts finally healed together, and we're now able to see the beauty of life again. Nothing would stop them now. Not the underground tunnel full with runners, clickers, and bloaters. Both were stealth masters now and knew if they take down the runners first and stay low, nothing would happen. Not this stupid clicker here that forced me to yet another unavoidable weapon use, and not the flowing water where we simply— oh no, we were stopped! Joel woke up to Marlene's face in the Firefly hospital and came to know that they already prepped Ellie for surgery in hopes to get everything for the antivirus, but also that this would take away his newly found light in his life, for Ellie would not survive the operation. Marlene hired a soldier to keep Joel down and escort him out, cause she probably had an idea of what his reaction would be. But she never could have guessed what kind of power unleashed in Joel in that moment. All this agony, all this suffering, all this pain was not for nothing. He would never give up Ellie. So he stood up, became the deadliest weapon of them all, and gave them the grand finale they asked for. See! They're brain dead! Who hired them? That's the last one. Come here, Ellie, I got you. Together at last. And what's the moral here? The greatest weapon to survive the unsurvivable is love. Now truly, nothing will ever separate Joel and Ellie. My puffball, I did it. I freaking did it. I beat at least the hardest parts of The Last of Us on grounded mode with nothing but Joel's fists. Overall, the game can't be completed weaponless. Ellie's power is her charm, not her brawn, and for Joel there are too many forced gun uses. But despite these, I am amazed that you actually only need to use a few Molotovs and maybe a few shotgun shots to beat The Last of Us's hardest difficulty. Keep that in mind for your next playthrough. Do I recommend this challenge? Hell no! Don't try this at home!
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It was so tedious to be stealthy all the time. At parts, the gameplay even lost its appeal. Listen to me when I say it's only fun when you can blow your way through. Regardless, The Last of Us is in my top 3 games of all times, and I will cover many more challenges on it if you'd like. Tell me in the comments below what other challenges you'd like to see. If you watched until here, 10 angels just got their wings. I hope you liked my video a bit. If you did, please show me your love by liking this video, as that really helps out my channel. And if you're game for some groovy challenges, subscribe to my channel, for you'll be in for a wild ride through the best of what horror and adventure games have to offer. Go check out my other challenges to get a taste of that. So until I see you in my next video, promise me to take care, my baby girl. Bye bye!